Another winter storm zeroes in on the Commonwealth. Here's a look from Oldham County on LaGrange Road. You can see how snow covered it is. And with that melted slush there's bound to be some slick spots, so be careful out there this morning. Good morning and thanks for joining us on Spectrum News 1. I'm Kayla Moody. The time now 9 Eastern, 8 Central. And let's get right into our live team coverage of this latest winter storm that's set to impact every corner of the Commonwealth. Jonathan Gregg is tracking conditions in Louisville and Kiati Patel is standing by in Lexington. But we begin with meteorologist Chris Havley in the Weather Center. And Chris, the snow already making for a rough commute all over the Commonwealth.
Absolutely, Kayla. You saw some of that video there. I want to highlight that. That's the kind of side streets, the untreated roads. Those are the ones that will be the most snow covered and ice covered here this morning. I've seen a lot of video and pictures of the interstates in pretty good shape for most areas, but still, even if you see that, there could be some tricky spots out there. So just take it easy if you haven't left this morning on that drive. Here's your forecast, or your radar right now. Forecast is coming in a second, and there's a lot more snow on the way. But currently right now, pretty quiet across the Commonwealth in general, but looking closer here across northern Kentucky, we've had a little bit of a snow shower develop, moving through areas around the Louisville metro area on the southeast side near 265, right along I-64. If you are traveling in that direction, you will likely encounter some moderate snow at the very least, and also up I-71 if you're traveling up toward Covington, as we've had some scattered snow showers out there here recently. But the bulk of this system, the main event, is right now currently over the lower Mississippi River Valley. Arkansas completely covered by snowfall right now. That's moving in the direction of the Commonwealth. And also look back here behind me, this little area of pink and purple, that's freezing rain and sleet, which is going to be impacting south central and southeast Kentucky later today. Now here's your forecast hour by hour. 9 o'clock this morning, right now, seeing some spotty snow showers, some little bit of freezing drizzle, wintry mix across southeast Kentucky. But as that second wave moves in, expect that precipitation to increase in intensity. And it's going to be here right during that afternoon, evening drive home as well. This is 3 to 5 o'clock. Notice how intense those colors are. It's going to be a very tricky time for travel as we go to the very end of our day and into our evening hours as well. But it will be wrapping up, but not before dropping some pretty decent snowfall totals. Some areas 6 to 10 inches across northwest areas of Kentucky. Kayla?
Chris, thank you. And Louisville drivers dealing with a slippery commute this morning and bracing for more snow this afternoon. We go now to our Jonathan Gray. He is live in Louisville with a look at the latest conditions. Jonathan, how is it out there?
It's going okay. We have that lull to thank for that. Chris was talking about, hey, the main event is coming up later today. This is kind of the pregame show. The snow that has fallen 1 to 2 inches where I'm at right now, it's very light. Check this out. Look how strong I am. That's how light it is. It is accumulating, but coming down slowly at the moment. This morning on my ride up here on 65, the highway was snow covered for a good chunk. Now, as we looked at 64 a short time ago, mostly wet, some slush. Crews have been out doing their thing. They've been treating it for a couple of days. That's certainly been keeping that snow down. And then, of course, as the blades come by, push it off to the side. People are out today. On these side streets, you can see it's still very much snow covered. So keep that in mind if you are going across town. If you're staying off the highways, you're probably going to be dealing with more snow coverage on these side streets than on the interstate at the moment. But like you said, like Chris said, the main event, that's coming up later today. We'll be here to tell you more about that later.
Jonathan, thank you. Stay warm out there. And in Lexington, they woke up to snow-covered streets, and we saw early in the morning hours folks out shoveling early and also snow plows moving to try to get those streets as clear as possible for that morning commute. The mayor also declaring a snow emergency. Our Kiati Patel is live in Lexington with a look at the latest conditions. Kiati, what can you tell us?
Hey, good morning, Kayla. It's certainly been a busy morning, not just for the roads to clear them up, but also at the hardware stores. We're here at the Chevy Chase hardware store owner, John and Lisa. It's been a busy morning. Here, let me bring them in. John, tell me a little bit about what you guys are seeing. I know salt is in high demand. What's the status right now?
Yeah, we got about 2.5 truckloads of salt, snow shovels, sleds coming in. And that should be here probably this afternoon, probably could be around 5 or 6 o'clock.
Now, you got a delivery last week and it's flying off the shelves. Just tell me a little bit about the number of phone calls and things like that. Describe all that to our viewers.
Yes, the amount that we got last week was a lot, and it was gone by like 3:30 that afternoon. People are calling constantly right now. As soon as we hang up, the phone rings again. We're just telling them that, the truck's on the way. We're hoping to let them know a time of delivery. If they'll follow us on Facebook, when I find out for sure what time it's going to be here, I will post it on Facebook for everyone.
Definitely a high demand.
Oh, very high demand. The phones hasn't stopped ringing since Friday.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for your time. I know it's busy. Y'all take care.
Thank you.
Now, again, you just heard from the owners of the Chevy Chase hardware store, Lisa and John Justice. Salt is in high demand. As soon as they get a delivery, that supply is gone. Definitely something to keep an eye out for. The other things that they're also running out of is shovels. It's been bought, sleds, things like that. They're going to get supply, but again, it'll take some time. Reporting in Lexington, Kathy Patel, Spectrum News.
Chianti, thank you. And with this newest round of snow and ice brings the threat for more power outages across the Commonwealth. This as thousands are waking up this morning across Kentucky without power from the last winter storm that we had. We want to go now to Joe Arnold. He joins us today from Kentucky Electric Cooperatives. Joe, thank you so much for joining us to talk about the current situation. Can you tell us what your crews are doing today?
Well, right now they're still trying to clean up or they're trying to restore power from last week's ice storm. You can see the northeastern portion of the state is especially hard hit. The area up here in the very corner there from Grayson, RECC especially, as well as Fleming Mason, Clark Energy, and Licking Valley, that's a certain area. Still maybe about 5,000 or 6,000 total consumer members of co-ops still without power this morning. So that was still from last week. Now, of course, they have to gear up for the ice coming in today, because this area, basically from the middle of the state in the south, and that trajectory that way is going to be ice from this way down. In some areas, perhaps up to a ½ inch to 3/4 of an inch, and that could be really, really problematic, especially if you're keeping that accumulation on top of previous accumulation.
And I want to talk a little bit about that. This next round that's coming in, how does that complicate what's already being done to help these folks get power again?
Well, I mean, bear in mind, safety is our #1 priority, Kayla, as you know. And so the line workers who are out there trying to work on this can only work in safe conditions. And so at a certain point, if the weather itself is going to be endangering their lives, they're going to have to suspend, if you will, some of the power restoration until after that system pushes through and we see what we're dealing with here. But of course, in the meantime, you have the possibility of winds, the possibility of the different attachments that are on the pole from other companies that have to make sure that's engineered properly so those don't cause too much stress and also pull those poles or those trees down. It's not just the poles, of course, it's the trees all around there that could also fall on there. So it's all those different complications that are happening. And of course, at this point, and I've heard your own meteorologists talk about this track seems to be pretty much exactly what we said it was going to be. What that means that the area in eastern Kentucky is probably going to be the worst hit.
All right, Joe, just about a minute left here, but I want to ask you quickly, what's your message to folks who have been without power for several days now?
Well, hang in there. We are certainly hoping that we can get to you as soon as possible. If you are still without power from before, however, and you're in a situation where you think that you can't, cope with it much longer, I would really encourage those folks to try to seek shelter in other places, because it might be until midweek, if not longer. As you know, there's going to be a second storm system after this one today coming in, and perhaps in that same area. So really, at this point, if you didn't already prepare an emergency kit and have those supplies and a way to keep warm already there, you might want to look for someplace else. And safety, Kayla, thank you for asking me. Down power lines, they're going to happen. Avoid them at all costs. Call 911 if you see one. Don't come into contact with anyone, anything which is in contact with that power line. And of course, is very dangerous.
All right, Joe Arnold with Kentucky Electric Cooperatives. Thank you so much. We'll be right back after the break. So much.